Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I am your host, Jon Herold. It is Tuesday, February 11th, and as usual, lots going on. We got lots to discuss. Before I get to our sponsors, I want to show you guys a pretty funny video. At least I found it funny. Oh, no, now I can't find it. Oh, what a terrible start. Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. This is so funny. Elon Musk is just trolling these people at this point. And again, the mainstream media, CNN, is doing a very good job of taking themselves super seriously while being a totally unserious network.
Disruptor in chief, Elon Musk, who apparently has adopted the alias, at least he changed his social media handle to Harry Balls, tweeted this morning, "Democracy in America is being destroyed by judicial coup. An activist judge is not a real judge." And as for the commander-in-chief...
Why would they read his username? Oh, these people are crazy. We'll get into some more of these activist judges, because there's just like minutes ago before I went live, there's another judge that is once again trying to stop Trump and his ruling. So we'll talk about this a little bit more. But before we do, let's get a quick word from our sponsors. One of our OGs, too, Benson Honey Farms. Welcome to Benson Honey Farms, where it's not just honey, it's pure gold. We are a dedicated husband and wife team passionate about bringing you the finest honey sourced right from the heartland of Nebraska. Proud to support our country. We're chasing the American dream on our family farm. Did you know our honey isn't just a tasty treat? It's nature's medicine. Perfect for easing allergies, soothing upset stomachs, and serving as a delicious alternative sweetener in all your baking. Our honey is never heated and is delivered to you in its delicious raw state. At Benson Honey Farms, we know the importance of quality, which is why we focus on the purity of our honey. But that's not all. We also offer handcrafted soaps, delightful candles, and candies, and more to enhance your experience. Join our community of supporters and enjoy a sweet deal. Use promo code DailyHerald for 15% off your purchase. Benson Honey Farms, savor the taste of Nebraska and support this America's first business. You can follow them on Facebook at Benson Honey Farms. I can tell you guys, I can already tell I'm having a tough time reading today. This is going to be this should be a fun episode. I'll be stumbling over myself more than I usually do. I do got to hand it to Benson Honey Farms, though. Their products are amazing. The people are amazing. They're truly living the America First dream. So it's awesome that Trump's back in office, but it's even more awesome when you guys support our sponsors. They're really great people, and I can't recommend their products enough. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Greatly appreciate that as well. And I do have one more sponsor I'm going to read quick, and then we'll get right to the news. We got... Did I click the right thing? Yes, I did. Okay. Pet Club. Experience the miracle of a God-given first responder for your health and an ally in your body that fights everything from minor ailments to major health threats. That ally is your immune system. At Pet Club 24/7, we harness the ancient wisdom of nature with our exclusive, potent strain of medicinal mushrooms revered for thousands of years for their immune-supporting properties that are extremely safe with no additions or overdoses, no side effects, and no interactions with medications. Transform how you manage health with our all-natural products and help Pet Club change the world one pet and one person at a time. Elevate your pet's health game and yours with our natural time-tested solution and explore how we're redefining wellness for both pets and people. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/petclub now to explore how we're redefining wellness for both pets and people. That's badlandsmedia.tv/petclub, treating pets and their parents better. All right, let's got a quick update. This is from Ash, so thank you, Ash, for sending this over. It's some updates on the confirmation hearings. These are all the ones that have already been confirmed. On the floor, DNI nominee Tulsi Gabbard is on the 30-hour clock. Democrats drag out the entire 30 hours. She will be confirmed around 12:30 a.m. Eastern on Wednesday, barring any surprises. That will be followed by the vote to invoke cloture for HHS nominee Robert F. Kennedy late tonight or early tomorrow. And then expected order on the floor this week, and this is pretty important. Cloture on Howard Lutnick to be the Secretary of Commerce, then 30 hours of debate. Confirmation of Lutnick. Cloture on Brooke Rollins to be Secretary of Agriculture, 30 hours of debate. Confirmation of Rollins. Cloture on Kelly Loeffler to be the Administrator of the Small Business Association, 30 hours of debate. confirmation on Loeffler, and then cloture on Dan Driscoll to be the nominee for Secretary of the Army. And I think that's just, is that just this whole week? Because where's Kash Patel? Isn't he in here? Oh yeah, it's Thursday. Okay. Right here. And I have an update on this, which I want to read to you guys quick. This came out today. I posted about it. I didn't see anybody else post about it, so I might have actually broke this. But you can expect many other people to post it themselves and call it breaking news. But we have a letter from Dick Durbin to General Horowitz, Inspector General Horowitz, and he is very concerned that Kash Patel may be directing the FBI prematurely. I've received highly credible information from multiple sources that Kash Patel has been personally directing the ongoing purge of career civil servants at the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Hold on one second, let me make me bigger. Although Mr. Patel is President Trump's nominee to be the FBI director, he's still a private citizen with no role in government. I understand that Mr. Patel's directives are being carried out through the concerted efforts of White House Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Stephen Miller, Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove, and several members of a newly established FBI Directors Advisory Team, the DAT. This alleged misconduct is beyond the pale and must be investigated immediately. He goes on, he whines, he cries, all these things. He's receiving information from the DAT team, and then he's providing direction to Mr. Miller, and they're carrying it all out. And then he's basically saying, hey, please investigate this. The urgency of this matter cannot be overstated. I see this as a last-minute attempt to try to derail Kash Patel's nomination, similar to like a Justice Kavanaugh hearing where they were just throwing everything at the wall. And at the end of the day, this is probably true. Kash Patel is probably giving input on how he thinks things should be carried out before he's officially named as director. But here's the thing, I don't really care. Of all the things you can complain about, you're going to complain about the guy that's going to be the FBI director giving input to the people running the FBI before he's officially confirmed. Who cares? But Dick is kind of a dick, so not all that surprising. The fact it's going to Horowitz is probably a good sign, because knowing him, we'll get a report on this matter 4 years from now. Trump will be out of office. None of it will matter. So, but stay tuned. We'll see what else happens, because as Ash pointed out, it should be Thursday. The Judiciary Committee vote on Thursday. So we'll see. This is the new breaking news from Kyle Cheney. I think this guy's Politico. I wonder how he feels about Politico receiving USAID funds. Anyway, a federal judge, George W. Bush appointee, ruled that the Trump administration's abrupt removal of public health websites with information relied on by doctors may have violated laws and regulations. He ordered them restored by midnight. So again, all over the country now, I don't even know what we're up to, maybe 5, 6 judges that have issued some sort of ruling going against what Trump is trying to do with his agenda. And it's expected. It's not surprising that these people are trying to fight back in every way they can. It's just ridiculous that we're allowing them to initially kind of succeed with this. But we got to get to the bottom of it. I hope they resolve this very quickly. I hope it goes to SCOTUS and we get some sort of ruling so they stop doing this, because all it is doing is it's delaying the inevitable. But it's a process we have to go through. I think Trump needs to seize the endowments of all the woke universities that created these judges. That's my personal opinion. It'd be a great way to fund the Sovereign Wealth Fund. But yeah, we can expect more of this. They're going to get challenged with everything they do, but all they're doing is essentially stalling. We got this from Trump. He's got some Truth Social posts that were pretty good. California just stopped counting their votes on the 2024 presidential election. Voter ID is totally barred. In fact, it is illegal for voting officials to even ask to see a person's identification. This cannot be made up. I don't even know if that's accurate, if they actually just finished counting, but they released the full unedited clip or interview or whatever from Trump on Fox News. They aired the first 7 minutes during the Super Bowl or before the Super Bowl or whatever. This clip came out yesterday. This is posted by The Storm Has Arrived, and this makes me nice and warm and happy inside. Take a listen.
Sports has always been something that Americans rally around and come together. They really do. You won the popular vote. You won all the swing states. But still, Kamala Harris got 75 million votes in the country.
Well, if you believe the whole thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
look,
okay.
the
Let's just
whole
say
thing
is
is ridiculous.
that the election was
but
as
Brett,
it was.
excuse me. There are 7 swing states. I won them all.
You did
by a lot.
But let me
Wait a
just get
minute.
to the
By a
dismount
lot.
here.
And I won the popular
Have
vote.
you thought about how to try to bring the country?
So Brett Baier tries to like say, hey, Kamala Harris got 75 million votes. And Trump's like, no, she didn't. The whole thing is corrupt. And I've been saying for years, the number one issue in this country is our election fraud system. And Trump right there with this clip kind of reminded me that he's well aware, and he's not going to put up with that. He's getting rid of everything else that's broken in this country. He's actually trying to fix it. He gave us real straws again, which we'll get to in a little bit. He's going to get to the bottom of the election fraud system too. I'm glad that came up in that interview, and his response was exactly what I needed to see. Let's see what else we got from Trump. All right, this one's fairly good. He's instructing Secretary Lee Zeldin to immediately go back to his environmental orders, Trump's, which were terminated by Joe Biden, on water standards and flow pertaining to sinks, showers, toilets, washing machines, dishwashers, and to likewise go back to common sense standards on light bulbs that were put in place by the Trump administration but terminated by Joe. These are the things that I don't remember any of these things actually affecting my day-to-day life. I don't know about you guys, but I don't remember ever having to like change my routine because there wasn't enough water in my toilet because of something Joe Biden did. But I don't know, maybe in places like California where they have more strict limits, there's issues that I have no idea. But I thought it was interesting that Trump is again going back to some of the things that were there before. We got this story. This is a pretty big one. FEMA spent tens of millions of dollars in Democrat areas disobeying orders, but left the people of North Carolina high and dry. It is now under review and investigation. The Biden-run FEMA has been a disaster. FEMA should be terminated. It has been a slow and totally ineffective. Individual states should handle storms, etc., as they come. Big savings, far more efficient. I totally agree with that. But this is the actual story of what he's talking about. There are 4 FEMA employees who are fired, and it's rumored that the CFO is one of them. Yeah, the acting head of federal agency responsible for responding to disasters, that they're suspending payments. So they sent like $59 million to a migrant hotel in New York City when they weren't supposed to. Yeah, firings come after Elon Musk wrote on X Monday that DOJ team just discovered FEMA sent $59 million last week to luxury hotels in New York City to house illegal migrants. Not good, but this is perfect. Like, this is step one. You find the people doing the corrupt things, especially if they're subverting your agenda now that you're in there and going behind your back. Now you fired them. What's next is prosecuting them. The only way you're going to get these people to stop doing this stuff is if there's actual consequences for your actions. If you set the laws and somebody within your administration goes behind your back to break the laws, firing them is not good enough. You need to put them in jail. They're going to try to get the money back. We'll see. They're issuing clawbacks. I mean, if I was a hotel, you going to comply with that? There's rumors that the hotel has got ties to Pakistan or something too. I didn't find too much sauce on it. I didn't look that hard, but so I didn't dig deep, but I wouldn't be surprised at all. Another interesting one here. Trump is sending Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessant to Ukraine to meet President Zelensky. This war must and will end soon. Too much death and destruction. The U.S. has spent billions of dollars globally with little to show. When America is strong, the world is at peace. The reason this is interesting to me is, one, we talked about it yesterday. General Kellogg is going over there, I think on the 20th. So next week. I'm curious if Treasury Secretary Scott Bessant is going with him, or is he going separately? And why? Why are we sending our Treasury Department to Ukraine to talk about ending the war? He's not like a special envoy. Is it going to be a financial discussion? Is he looking for money? Are we going to get some money back? Is there, like, why Bessant? I don't understand it. And maybe I'm missing something, but it just seems like a weird layer to be sending there and specifically posting about when we already know that Kellogg is going over there next week. Anyway, we did get some breaking news from Ash here. So President Trump is meeting with the president of Jordan right now. I think I have a story on this. Let me find it. Yeah, right here. So Jordan's King Abdullah II arrives in Washington for talks with the Trump administration. The king is set to meet with President Trump on Tuesday, along with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, and the president's special envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff. What I think is interesting about this is if you remember back to after Trump was out there with Netanyahu last week and made that announcement about we're going to take over Gaza and we're going to build the Riviera of the Middle East. In the immediate aftermath of that, we had Saudi Arabia issue this letter basically saying, absolutely not. We hate this. Not happening. And this was on February 4th, 7:40 p.m. On the next day, February 5th, one of the calls that came in was from the King of Jordan, King Abdullah II. And they talked about the rights of the Palestinian people and all these things. So I'm pretty sure, I'm not an expert on Middle East like Ghost is. Maybe we'll have to have him on tomorrow to kind of do a little summation of what's going on. But this guy appears to be an ally of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is not on board with this. But here's the breaking news. Take a listen.
Right away is take 2,000 children that are either cancer children or in a very ill state to Jordan as quickly as possible, and then wait for, I think, the Egyptians to present their plan on how we can work with the president to work on Gaza challenges.
So you're
I want to tell you, excuse me, wait, just please. I didn't know that what you just said, 2,000 children with cancer or other problems. And that's really a beautiful gesture. That's really good. And we appreciate it.
That's pretty interesting. Kind of breaking news. So Jordan's going to take 2,000 children, but there's like millions of Palestinians total, if I'm not mistaken. So I think there's gonna need to see what happens with the rest of them and how they feel. I'm sure we'll get news on this as the day goes on, how the meeting went. Let's go over some of the things that Trump did yesterday. Got some new moves on the White House website. First one is the adjusted imports of steel into the United States. I think this is a big deal. This is very important. Very good move. Yesterday, President Trump signed proclamations to close existing loopholes and exemptions to restore a true 25% tariff on steel and elevate the tariff to 25% on aluminum. Key reforms include eliminating all alternative agreements, applying strict melted import standards, and expanding tariffs to include key downstream products, terminating all general approved exclusions, and cracking down on tariff misclassification and duty evasion schemes. And then here's the countries that have had exemptions prior. And it's kind of an interesting list. The countries of Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, Japan, Mexico, South Korea, the European Union, Ukraine, and the United Kingdom had received exemptions which prevented the tariffs from being effective. By granting exemptions to certain countries, the United States inadvertently created loopholes that were exploited by China and others with excess steel and aluminum capacity, undermining the purpose of these exemptions. I wonder which countries they were exploiting. Probably Canada, Mexico, maybe Ukraine. I don't know. But I thought that was notable. Exemptions and loopholes have permitted evasion of the tariffs and weakened the effectiveness of the program. Foreign nations have been flooding the United States market with cheap steel and aluminum, often subsidized by their governments. While the domestic steel industry briefly achieved 80% utilization in 2021, in 2022 and 2023, that fell down to as low as 75.3%. And so, yeah, he's flipping that around. A 2024 economic analysis found that a global tariff of 10% would grow the economy by $728 billion and create 2.8 million jobs and increase real household incomes by 5.7%. So I am fully supportive of this move and glad those exemptions are gone. Next, we got this one. Pausing Foreign Corrupt Practices Act enforcement to further American economic and national security. I found this one to be a little weird, interesting, because if you look up what this act is or what this does, I mean, technically it's supposed to stop people from paying or accepting bribes to foreign companies to do things. And I don't think he's like allowing that to happen now. I think it's more they're trying to pause and review this program because it's preventing us from being as I don't know, economically successful as we could be. But here's a reading of it. American national security depends on America and its companies gaining strategic commercial advantages around the world. President Trump is stopping excessive, unpredictable FCPA enforcement that makes American companies less competitive. U.S. companies are harmed by FCPA over-enforcement because they are prohibited from engaging in practices common among international competitors, creating an uneven playing field. Yeah, that's all I really wanted to read from that. But yeah, like I'll do a quick search of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, and I didn't read the act itself, so this could just be, AI's woke summary from Wikipedia or whatever. But this is what it says. It's a law that prohibits U.S. firms and individuals from paying bribes to foreign officials to further business deals. And so that's essentially being paused now, which is good. But I mean, I feel like we probably still shouldn't be paying bribes to further business deals. I don't know, just my opinion. Eliminating the Federal Executive Institute. This is an interesting one. I like this one a lot. And here's the fact sheet on it. This order directs the Office of Personnel Management to take all necessary steps to terminate the Federal Executive Institute, and it revokes the appropriate documents. President Trump is committed to ensuring that government serves the American people rather than itself, which requires a complete shift in government leadership toward reducing waste and promoting efficient service to taxpayers. The Federal Executive Institute was created by the Johnson administration more than 50 years ago to provide leadership training to government bureaucrats. Bureaucratic leadership over the past half century has enlarged and entrenched Washington, D.C.'s managerial class, a bloated system far removed from the needs of American families. New leadership is needed. The Federal Executive Institute includes a resort property in Charlottesville, Virginia, that was formerly a luxury hotel, which is used for bureaucracy training courses. Eliminating the Federal Executive Institute is part of President Trump's broader mission to reform the federal bureaucracy, including by ending ineffective government programs that drain resources and empower government without achieving measurable results. The government would waste billions of dollars each year on duplicative programs and frivolous expenditures that fail to align with American values or address the needs of the American people. He's like going right at the heart of the woke DEI rogue state. And I love it. And I never heard of this group before, or the institute before. So you learn something new every day. And this one I don't think was very publicized. Like, I don't remember them putting out a video or saying anything that he signed it. Maybe I just missed it. But yeah, love it. And then we got this too. Ending procurement and forced use of paper straws. The fact that this is a real order is kind of mind-blowing in and of itself. Like we were at a point in our country that things were so dire that we needed to write an executive order to stop being forced to use paper straws. But I'll read what it says here. An irrational campaign against plastic straws has resulted in major cities, states, and businesses banning the use or automatic inclusion of plastic straws with beverages. Plastic straws are often replaced by paper straws, which are non-functional, use chemicals that may carry risks to human health, are more expensive to produce than plastic straws, and often force users to use multiple straws. Additionally, paper straws sometimes come individually wrapped in plastic, undermining the environmental argument for their use. It is therefore the policy of the United States to end the use of paper straws. It's just comical. Okay, I already did that. Okay, this came out yesterday. There was a clip of Trump. I'm not going to play because I'd have to find it. But Netanyahu and Trump are kind of on the same page with this. The ceasefire that's going on right now in the Middle East, it's going to end if Hamas doesn't release hostages on Saturday. And Trump was the one who first announced that. So something to keep our eyes on. Like I said, I'll probably bring Ghost on one of these days if he's available to discuss some updates over there. And then, I already talked about this, a meeting with President Jordan, so we can skip that. This is kind of cool and kind of interesting too. Defense Secretary Hegseth brings back Fort Bragg name with a different namesake. So if you remember last year, Joe Biden and his administration, they wanted to get rid of every single military base that had a name of somebody associated with the Confederacy. And it's kind of ironic because the Democrat Party was the party of slavery. But anyway, they had this law out here, and removal of Confederate names, symbols, displays, monuments, and paraphernalia from assets of Department of Defense, except as provided in paragraph 2, blah, 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 not later than a year. The SecDef shall remove all those things that honor or commemorate the Confederate States of America, commonly referred to as the Confederacy, for any person who served voluntarily with the Confederate States of America from all assets of the DOD. So they want to bring this name back, Fort Bragg. It was renamed Fort Liberty. A lot of pretty cool and special things go on at Fort Bragg. A lot of special operations stuff, PSYOP stuff. It's a very important military base. But because the previous Fort Bragg name was banned, they had to find somebody else with the same name in order to name it Fort Bragg. So the current Fort Bragg that it's being named after is not the same Bragg that it was prior to the Biden administration removing the name. Does that make sense? Anyway, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is bringing the name Bragg back to one of the Army's largest bases, Fort Liberty, which replaced the namesake of a Confederate general in 2023. But in a memorandum signed Monday, Hegseth instructed the Army to rename the North Carolina military installation in honor of a different Bragg, Private First Class Roland L. Bragg, a World War II veteran who was awarded the Silver Star and Purple Heart for extraordinary bravery during the Battle of the Bulge, according to a statement from Pentagon Press Secretary Jon Herold. The fort was among 9 bases that the Congressional Commission proposed renaming during President Joe Biden's presidency. Removing Confederate monikers from U.S. military bases became a contentious political issue in the final months of Donald Trump's first term, while Trump vetoed the 2021 National Defense Authorization Act that included the naming commission. Congress voted to override his veto with overwhelmingly bipartisan support. And it's just overwhelming, not overwhelmingly. Apologies. But yeah, interesting. Name's back, different guy. Kind of a funny story. This is an interesting thing to keep our eyes on here. We got the top tech titans feud in bitter battle for AI's future. It's from Axios. But they're talking about Elon Musk yesterday. I don't know if you guys noticed. He basically put in an offer, and I don't know if it was a real offer or not, but he put in a bid of $97.4 billion to buy OpenAI and their for-profit assets, which Altman is in the midst of cleaving from the company's nonprofit board. It's like it's supposed to be a nonprofit company, and they've fundraised and gotten a lot of money on it being a nonprofit company. And now Altman is trying to turn it into a for-profit. He's just like, yeah, whatever, just kidding. Let's go profit. And this is what it says. This is partially about trolling, partially about upstaging the Paris AI Summit, and partially about trying to slow down a strategic rival who's made recent inroads with President Trump. And that's all speculation from Axios, but I think it's worth pointing out. It's unclear if Musk is offering more for the assets than is Altman, but it may not matter. OpenAI's board is mission-driven, meaning that it needn't necessarily take the most lucrative offer. And this is unlike what happened when Musk bid on Twitter, which was chaired by the same person who now chairs OpenAI's board, Brett Taylor. And that's the part that's interesting to me, I think, the most interesting. When Elon Musk essentially took over Twitter, bought it out, that whole thing, there was a board of Twitter's Inc. The chairman of the board is this guy, Brett Taylor, and it's currently the same guy who is the chairman of OpenAI right now. Like, what are the odds of that? That has to be more than a coincidence. You know what I mean? Like, this is just weird. But anyway, JD Vance right now is in Paris talking about he's at the Paris AI Summit or whatever, and there's an awesome video I want to play you guys of JD Vance talking AI versus Kamala Harris talking AI, our former AI czar.
The United States of America is the leader in AI, and our administration plans to keep it that way. The U.S. possesses all components across the full AI stack, including advanced semiconductor design, frontier algorithms, and of course, transformational applications. Now, the computing power this stack requires is integral to advancing AI technology. And to safeguard America's advantage, the Trump administration will ensure that the most powerful AI systems are built in the U.S. with American-designed and manufactured chips.
AI is kind of a fancy thing. First of all, it's 2 letters. It means artificial intelligence. But ultimately what it is it's about machine learning. And so the machine is taught. And part of the issue here is what information is going into the machine that will then determine, and we can predict then, if we think about what information is going in, what then will be produced in terms of decisions and opinions that may be made through that process.
She has no idea what she's talking about. It's just nice. It's a nice change of pace to have somebody in there who understands what's going on. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna have to keep tabs on this OpenAI thing with Elon Musk. I wonder if he's serious. The fact that it's the same guy, chairman of the board, makes me wonder if it isn't. So anyway, we got this from yesterday. I thought this was interesting. DOJ moves to have the New York City Mayor Eric Adams charges dropped. They asked prosecutors Monday to drop federal charges. Acting Deputy Attorney General Immelbov requested the corruption case involving bribery and fraud charges against the first New York City mayor to be indicted while serving in office to be dismissed without prejudice as soon as practicable. The decision to dismiss the charges was not based on the strength of the case against Adams. That's what's being reported. He wrote that, or Bove wrote, the case could interfere with the mayor's November re-election bid and has unduly restricted Adams' ability to devote full attention and resources to the illegal immigration and violent crime that has escalated under the policies of the prior administration. It's just weird to me. I don't understand why we care. Like, if he actually committed the crimes, that's what I care about. Like, did he actually commit fraud? Was he involved in bribery? Then he should be charged with it. If it was actually, weaponization of the Justice Department against him for whatever reason, then yeah, I understand. But the way they're talking about it here, like it would interfere with his reelection bid, and he's not fighting immigration hard enough. And so we need to drop these charges against him. That's different than them saying this was unfairly and unjust. You know what I mean? So I don't know. There's also another guy that they Trump gave a pardon to yesterday. Hold on. Oh, what's that guy's name? Blagojevich or something? Oh yeah, Rod Blagojevich. He got pardoned by Trump yesterday as well. This is like one of the first guys to be targeted by the Obama Justice Department. He served 8 years in prison on charges stemming from his effort to sell Barack Obama's Senate seat after Obama won the 2008 presidential election. And then Trump commuted a 14-year sentence in 2020. And now he's getting the full pardon. So I don't know. Trump's making moves. His Department of Justice is, you got to assume they're righting the ship. I just wish we get a better excuse as to what they're doing, other than it's going to hurt his reelection chances. He can't run an effective campaign unless Mayor Adams is pardoned. So whatever. We got this story. The FBI has found secret JFK assassination records after Trump ordered them to produce them publicly. The FBI just discovered about 2,400 records tied to President Kennedy's assassination that were never provided to a board tasked with reviewing and disclosing the documents, Axios has learned. This board they're talking about is the Public Interest Declassification Board, which was formerly chaired by Ezra Cohen Watnick. He's still on the board. He's just no longer the chair. The existence of the new documents was disclosed Friday to the White House when the Office of the Director of National Intelligence submitted its plan to disclose the assassination records under Trump's order. So if you remember the order from, I think it was it about a week and a half ago now it came out? It ordered the DNI and the director of the CIA to put together a plan to release all this stuff publicly. So they presented that plan to Trump on Friday. And apparently in their review, they came across these documents. And I want to know, like, where have these been? Why weren't these produced before? What's in them? Like, I personally don't think we're going to see any admission of guilt from the CIA or any of these agencies saying, yeah, we were involved in assassinating the president. It doesn't make sense that they put those in their own documents. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I definitely could be. Maybe they are that stupid. But it's weird that these have been there for like 60 years and have never been disclosed to even having existed. Like, what the heck is in these things? And even more interesting is this. Ezra Cohen Watnick, who I just said, formerly the chair of the Public Interest Declassification Board on January 19th, he quote tweeted a Charlie Kirk tweet, and Charlie's tweet, I don't have it pulled up here, but it was essentially, we're going to find out two things. Either one, our government actually did play a role in killing JFK, or two, they like basically overclassify stuff for no reason, and it's this whole bureaucratic BS. Ezra Cohen-Watnick, and this is very much in line with what many other people from Trump's first administration have said, including Kash Patel and Secretary Pompeo, is the reason these documents are being withheld is not because they're going to show that our government killed JFK. That's not what's in the files. It's sources and methods and all these things, and you constantly update your sources and methods. But this tweet from Ezra Cohen-Watnick is extremely interesting because he says, what we really need is an independent canvas for documents within the CIA and the IC, intelligence community, related to the assassination to confirm that the documents CIA turned over several decades ago are the whole story. And then here we are 3.5 weeks later, whatever, and he basically called it. He basically said there was other documents out there, and that's what we got. How did he know? This tweet has just been, it's been keeping me up all night last night, because how did he know? What did he know, and what is in these documents that are, oh, what the heck? Sorry, Siri. It's just crazy. So very interesting. Now I'm very intrigued what's in these 2,400 documents, even though I don't think they're going to be like a huge bombshell. I'm just very curious. GOP congressman moves to impeach judge who blocked Musk's DOJ. And this is the way. This is step one of the way. We need to impeach every single judge that is trying to stonewall what Trump is doing here. But Eli Crane, I like this guy. He has drafted articles of impeachment against Judge Paul A. Engelmeyer after the judge blocked Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency from accessing Treasury Department payment systems. He wrote on X that partisan judges abusing their positions is a threat to democracy, accusing the left of doing irreparable harm to the country. He defended President Trump and his team at DOJ, saying they are working to fix this. So it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a legal battle until we get a Supreme Court ruling. But for now, I don't know what else we can do other than impeach these people and ignore the rulings. But Netanyahu aides indicted for witness intimidation. If you remember the corruption allegations that were brought forth, I think he had a criminal trial. Criminal trial. The three senior aides to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu were indicted Tuesday for witness intimidation over a 2019 incident targeting Shlomo Filber. He witnessed in Netanyahu's criminal trial. So found that to be newsworthy. Over the weekend, Trump said he was firing the entire board of the Kennedy Center. He said he was going to be the chairman, Trump himself. Well, yesterday, last night, he says that he's going to instead appoint Richard Grenell as interim head of the Kennedy Center. I'm pleased to announce that Rick Grenell will serve as the interim executive director of the Kennedy Center. Maybe this still means Trump is chairman, because that's a different position. But Rick shares my vision for a golden age of American arts and culture, and will be overseeing the daily operations of the center. No more drag shows or other anti-American propaganda. Only the best. Rick, welcome to show business. And again, it's interesting, if you watch the Saturday Power Hour, I think there's a little bit more to the story of the Kennedy Center than people realize, because the former chairman is David Rubenstein. Rick Grenell is an interesting one. He's like Trump's special envoy to pretty much anywhere. He's going to go to the most difficult places and do the most difficult things. Like, he's going to be in Russia. He's going to be in the Middle East. He's going to be in Ukraine, like all these things. That's Rick Grenell. He's the one who went down to Venezuela and got the hostages back before Rubio even got down there. But now he's going to the Kennedy Center. So again, I think it's highlighting the significance of what the Kennedy Center actually represents. But maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist. We got the judge ordering the FBI to release records on Trump Mar-a-Lago probe. Federal judge ruled Monday that the dismissal of criminal charges against President Trump over classified records at Mar-a-Lago removes a key obstacle to making records about the investigation public. U.S. Judge Beryl Howell determined that Trump's return to the presidency, along with the Supreme Court's ruling on presidential immunity, effectively shields him from criminal liability As a result, she said the FBI can no longer justify withholding records related to the probe under standard secrecy protections. The reason I find this so interesting is, one, not only do I want to see what these documents show and what the FBI was doing, but before Jack Smith left office, like in one of his last filings, where he basically said he was kind of like dropping the case, he couldn't go no further, he kind of left the door open to future criminal charges and prosecutions against Trump for the same stuff, because he basically said it wasn't over. This isn't over. We didn't get the resolution we were looking for. He just got elected. So we're putting this on pause. The judge here, Beryl Howell, is essentially saying, well, no, it's over now. And the Supreme Court's ruling, it shouldn't have been brought to begin with. It shouldn't have been continued to begin with. So what I'm looking to see here is whether or not anybody from the former Biden DOJ, like any of these, the Norm Eisens of the world or the Mark Elias of the world, are they going to fight this ruling and say, no, we still want to pursue charges against Trump in the future when he's not president? That's what I want to see here. Maybe we won't see it and they'll just move on, but that's what I'm keying in on. Oh, what else we got? Hold for processing. We're getting close to the last of my stories here. Oh, I should have brought this up earlier. My tab was out of order. But Vance warns U.S. allies to keep AI regulation light. U.S. at odds with dozens of countries pushing for common set of principles for multilateral artificial intelligence governance at the Paris summit. The Trump administration wants the U.S. to dominate the AI revolution and is warning American allies to get on board with its light touch approach to tech regulation or risk being left out. I think they're highlighting the significance of what AI is really going to be in the future. I mean, the potential for AI and what it can do, I don't even think we can fully comprehend at this time. I mean, I know I can't. Maybe some of you other guys out there can, but it's interesting. Somebody said, am I devolving? Call sign Cujo? Yeah, I don't know. There's just so much going on to the story, this whole AI story. And it's tough to really comprehend. I know Chris Paul has probably done the best of wrapping his head around what he thinks is going on. He's probably right. You know, maybe this is just an unrolling and public disclosure of what's already taken place. But they appear to be setting up this, this arms race of AI. That's a story we're being told right now. Whether or not that's real, who knows? But this is the future. So it's nice to see how Trump is going to handle this stuff, and it's light on regulation, which is kind of how he wants to handle most things, light on regulation. What benefits America most? Let's make it easiest for American companies to do things, including with AI. This is a good move. Steve Bannon pleaded guilty to border wall fraud case. Manhattan state prosecutors had accused former Trump advisor of defrauding donors who gave to nonprofits supporting wall on southern border. He did plead guilty to this case. I think this isn't what he served prison time for. He was in prison for the J6 stuff. But Bannon, the host of War Room, a popular show with Trump supporters, entered a guilty plea to one count of a scheme to defraud in the first degree. In exchange, prosecutors said he would receive a conditional discharge, allowing him to avoid prison time. That is the only reason I would imagine he pleaded guilty. It would have been interesting to see him fight it, but I don't know if he's actually guilty in this. I just think it's newsworthy. So pointed it out. This is him walking out of court. Let me fast forward. Here we go.
See this headline right here? Trump causes constitutional crisis. Trump causes constitutional crisis. Showdown emerges of the limits of his power. Let me be blunt. And this is a lesson here. The existential threat to President Trump's administration is not in federal court. What President Trump is doing is constitutional. The appellate courts will say that. The Supreme Court will say that. The existential threat to President Trump's administration, and I mean Doge, Elon Musk, Secretary Treasury Bessant, Russ Vought, Stephen Miller, all of his people. The existential threat is right here in this city. It is the queen of lawfare. It's Letitia James. Right now, Soros has a DA that's running unopposed. He can call a grand jury at any time. He can set up criminal charges on the most bogus efforts. Letitia James runs this deal. She's got a pliant media right here, pliant left-wing media. She's got a jury pool of only left-wing radicals in the Upper West Side of this city. And she's got the judges. She's got all of it. And I'm calling on right now the Attorney General Pam Bondi to begin an immediate criminal investigation into Letitia James, Alvin Bragg, all of it for what they did to President Trump. President Trump on his Truth Social today laid it out once again. The existential threat to his administration is this queen of lawfare, Letitia James, and how she has absolutely total control. And DOJ and Elon Musk and Scott Bessant and all of them ought to be worried about this out of control city. Thank you.
Yeah, I found that interesting. How much damage can she really do? You know, just one attorney general. It would be kind of cool to see Pam Bondi investigate her, though. Kind of hope that happens. But yeah, I'm done now. I cruised through everything, so we're gonna wrap it up right here. Get you out of here in 50 minutes. Look at that. Sorry, there was one more breaking news I wanted to show. American Mark Fogel released from Russian custody after a phone call with the United States. American teacher detained by Russia and is heading back to American soil, the Trump administration announced Tuesday. President Trump and his special envoy Steve Witkoff are able to announce that Mr. Witkoff is leaving Russia airspace with Mark Fogel. I didn't even realize that Witkoff was over there, but it's a good sign considering next week are the talks with allegedly Ukraine and General Kellogg, and now we know that Scott Bessant is going over to Ukraine to discuss with Zelensky, whatever. Witkoff's already been in Russia, and he's coming back with a prisoner. That's a good sign, I think. So it's good news to hear. But other than that, guys, hit that thumbs up if you wouldn't mind. I'd greatly appreciate it. Make sure you guys are following all the platforms, YouTube, everywhere. Get your GART tickets, badlandsmedia.tv/events. GART is March 6th through the 9th in Vegas. Single day tickets are going on sale here in the next day or so, maybe even today. I don't want to put any unwanted pressure on Mrs. Bright, but we're going to try to get those up soonish. So you can expect that for those who can't attend the full weekend but want to come to a day or whatever. It's a great way to come hang out with a great group of people. You won't regret it. Other than that, guys, I'll be back to read the rant shortly, and you can catch me tomorrow, Daily Herald, at 1 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for tuning in.
0. Extra, read all about it. 2. 3. Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Stop to me.
All right, a couple rants here. 12 Indie Boy, Ty, nice to see you, man. Looking forward to seeing you and JC in Vegas. I'm wondering how we can get FEMA money for the next GART. That I'm wondering too. I would love to see that. Some of that you said cash for GART. Thank you for the rant, man. JHW934. Can you please explain how Obama appointed 39 czars without Senate confirmations, yet what Elon is doing is supposedly illegal? You said was established by EO under JFK, the executive branch can shut it down. The Democrats they're kind of known for being hypocrites. So of course they're going to do things and then complain and fight back when we do the same thing or similar things or whatever. Also, the Republicans are kind of known for being spineless. I don't like really any of our government officials. So it is what it is. In terms of you said being established and Trump doing what he's doing, I think he knows the way in which he wants to carry this out, and he's doing it in a process in which it's going to be challenged, and the challenge is going to have to happen. Like we're going to have the fight at some point in SCOTUS. One of these challenges has to go to SCOTUS, and they're just going to have to rule that Trump can do what he wants to do. Until that happens, they're gonna fight back as often and in as many places as they can. So why wouldn't they? So we just need to fast track one of these cases to SCOTUS, get the ruling over with, and then from there it's home free, kind of. But thank you for the rant. Great comment and question. Lee Walden. John, I want to go to Plymouth Gart and live close. Are tickets available without hotel? Yeah, tickets are separate from hotel with everything we do. Those aren't on sale right now yet, though. So those will probably go on sale after Vegas here. We'll let you know. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up. I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, you should stay tuned because I think in the next hour or so, is going to be the press conference from Luna. Her and Comer are doing some press conference at 2. We're going to have it covered here on Badlands Media, so make sure you guys don't stray too far from the Badlands Media Rumble page. Have a great rest of your day, guys. See you tomorrow.